Imagine a world where the light of day feels like an oppressive weight, where every thought is a struggle, and even the simplest tasks become insurmountable mountains. This isn't just a bad mood, it's the lived reality for millions grappling with depression and anxiety. These aren't character flaws or signs of weakness, they are complex medical conditions rooted deeply in the intricate machinery of our brains. For too long, mental illness has been shrouded in stigma and misunderstanding, often dismissed as all in your head. But what if we told you that it literally is, and that in your head means a sophisticated network of neurons, chemicals, and electrical signals that can go awry? Today, we're pulling back the curtain to explore the cutting-edge neuroscience behind depression and anxiety, revealing the hidden battles fought within the confines of our skulls. Prepare to embark on a journey into the brain's darkest secrets, unraveling how biology, environment, and experience conspire to shape our mental well-being. First, let's establish a foundational understanding. Depression and anxiety are distinct but often co-occurring disorders. Depression is characterized by persistent sadness, loss of interest or pleasure, changes in appetite or sleep, and feelings of worthlessness or guilt. Anxiety, on the other hand, manifests as excessive worry, fear, and apprehension, often accompanied by physical symptoms like heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and muscle tension. While their outward expressions differ, their internal neural underpinnings share significant commonalities, particularly concerning dysregulation in key brain circuits and neurochemical systems. These aren't mere emotional states, they are systemic disruptions affecting cognition, mood, and behavior, profoundly altering an individual's perception of reality and their ability to function. Our journey begins with neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers. For decades, the monoamine hypothesis has been a cornerstone of understanding depression, positing that an imbalance of monoamine neurotransmitters, primarily serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, contributes to the disorder. Serotonin, often dubbed the feel-good chemical, regulates mood, sleep, appetite, and learning. Norepinephrine influences alertness, arousal, and attention, while dopamine is crucial for pleasure, motivation, and reward. A deficiency or dysregulation in the signaling of any of these can profoundly impact mood stability and emotional processing, leading to the debilitating symptoms observed in depression and anxiety. It's not as simple as low serotonin, but rather a complex interplay of their synthesis, release, receptor sensitivity, and reuptake mechanisms. Let's delve deeper into serotonin's role. Many antidepressant medications, known as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, work by blocking the reabsorption of serotonin into the presynaptic neuron, thereby increasing its availability in the synaptic cleft. This prolonged presence allows serotonin to bind to receptors for a longer period, theoretically enhancing mood regulation. However, the effects aren't immediate, often taking weeks to manifest. This delay suggests that the therapeutic benefits extend beyond simple chemical levels, involving complex downstream adaptations like changes in receptor sensitivity and the growth of new neural connections. The serotonin theory itself has evolved, acknowledging that it's not merely about absolute levels but the efficiency and responsiveness of the entire serotonergic system. Norepinephrine and dopamine also play critical roles. Norepinephrine, a key player in the fight-or-flight response, contributes to anxiety symptoms when overactive, causing heightened arousal and hypervigilance. In depression, a deficit can lead to fatigue, lack of concentration, and anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure. Dopamine, on the other hand, is intimately linked to the brain's reward system. Low dopamine activity is associated with anhedonia and a lack of motivation, core symptoms of depression. Some antidepressants, like SNRIs, serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, and NDRIs, norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitors, target these neurotransmitters simultaneously, reflecting their interconnected influence on mood and cognition. Understanding these intricate pathways is crucial for developing more targeted and effective treatments. Beyond monoamines, other neurotransmitters are gaining recognition. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, responsible for calming neural activity. Low GABA levels or impaired GABAergic signaling are strongly implicated in anxiety disorders, leading to overstimulation and heightened neuronal excitability. Benzodiazepines, commonly prescribed for acute anxiety, work by enhancing GABA's effects, promoting relaxation and reducing panic. Conversely, glutamate, the main excitatory neurotransmitter, can contribute to anxiety and depression when its activity is excessive or dysregulated, potentially leading to neurotoxicity and altered synaptic plasticity. The balance between excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters is a delicate one, and its disruption can have profound consequences for mental health. Now, let's move from chemical messengers to the brain's architecture. Specific brain regions are consistently implicated in depression and anxiety. The amygdala, often called the brain's fear center, is hyperactive in anxiety disorders, leading to an exaggerated response to perceived threats. In depression, its activity can also be altered, influencing emotional memory and processing. Conversely, the prefrontal cortex, PFC, particularly its ventromedial and dorsolateral regions, responsible for executive functions like decision-making, emotional regulation, and planning, often shows reduced activity in depression. This diminished PFC activity can impair an individual's ability to cope with stress, regulate emotions, and experience pleasure, contributing significantly to the cognitive and emotional deficits observed. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure vital for memory formation and emotional regulation, is another key player. Chronic stress, a significant risk factor for both depression and anxiety, can lead to a reduction in hippocampal volume and impaired neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons. This atrophy can affect memory, learning, and the ability to contextualize fear, making it harder to distinguish between real and perceived threats. The interplay between the hippocampus and the amygdala is crucial. A healthy hippocampus helps to inhibit an overactive amygdala, preventing an exaggerated fear response. When this balance is disrupted, individuals become more vulnerable to persistent anxiety and depressive symptoms. Understanding these structural changes provides critical insights into the pathology of these conditions. The anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, is another region of immense importance. It acts as a bridge between emotion and cognition, playing a role in attention, motivation, and error detection. In depression, the ACC can show altered activity, sometimes hyperactive in its subgenual region, linked to sadness and rumination, and sometimes hypoactive in its dorsal region, linked to impaired cognitive control. This dysregulation contributes to the persistent negative thought patterns, difficulty concentrating, and impaired emotional processing characteristic of depressive episodes. For anxiety, an overactive ACC can contribute to excessive worry and a heightened sense of threat, making it difficult to disengage from distressing thoughts. Its complex involvement underscores the intertwined nature of these disorders. Beyond individual regions, it's the connectivity, the way these brain areas communicate, that truly matters. Depression and anxiety are increasingly understood as disorders of brain networks. For instance, the default mode network, DMN, active when the brain is at rest and engaged in self-referential thought, often shows excessive connectivity in depression. This can lead to rumination, self-criticism, and an inability to shift focus away from internal negative thoughts. Conversely, the salience network, which identifies and prioritizes important internal and external stimuli, can be dysregulated, making it difficult to filter out irrelevant information or perceive emotional cues accurately. These network imbalances create a vicious cycle, reinforcing maladaptive thought patterns and emotional responses. Genetic predisposition plays a significant, though not deterministic, role. Research indicates that both depression and anxiety have a heritable component. While there isn't a single depression gene, numerous genes, each with a small effect, contribute to an individual's vulnerability. These genes might influence neurotransmitter synthesis, receptor sensitivity, stress response pathways, or neurodevelopment. For example, variations in genes related to serotonin transport, like 5-HT-TLPR, have been linked to increased susceptibility to depression in the face of stress. However, genetics load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. This gene-environment interaction is crucial. A genetic predisposition doesn't guarantee illness, but it can increase sensitivity to adverse life events, making an individual more likely to develop a disorder when exposed to stressors. The impact of stress on the brain is profound and undeniable. Chronic stress activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis, leading to sustained release of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. While acute cortisol bursts are adaptive, prolonged exposure can be neurotoxic. It impairs hippocampal neurogenesis, damages neurons in the prefrontal cortex, and sensitizes the amygdala, making the brain more prone to fear and anxiety responses. This persistent state of hyperarousal and neuroinflammation contributes directly to the structural and functional changes seen in depression and anxiety. Early life adversity, such as childhood trauma or neglect, can permanently alter the HPA axis's sensitivity, creating a lifelong vulnerability to stress-related disorders. Understanding this link is vital for both prevention and treatment. Inflammation, once considered solely a bodily response to injury or infection, is now strongly implicated in mental illness. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the brain, or neuroinflammation, can disrupt neurotransmitter systems, impair neurogenesis, and damage neural circuits. Pro-inflammatory cytokines can interfere with serotonin synthesis, increase glutamate levels, and alter the blood-brain barrier's integrity, creating a hostile environment for brain cells. Conditions like autoimmune diseases or chronic infections often co-occur with depression, suggesting a shared inflammatory pathway. This emerging field highlights the brain-body connection, showing that what affects our physical health can profoundly impact our mental state, moving beyond a purely psychological or purely neurological explanation for these complex disorders. The gut-brain axis is a revolutionary concept gaining significant traction. Our gut is home to trillions of microorganisms, collectively known as the microbiome. This second brain communicates extensively with the central nervous system through neural, hormonal, and immunological pathways. An imbalanced gut microbiome, dysbiosis, can affect mood and behavior by altering neurotransmitter production, e.g., serotonin is largely produced in the gut, influencing the HPA axis, and contributing to systemic inflammation. Studies have shown that probiotics can sometimes improve mood and reduce anxiety symptoms, suggesting that modulating gut health could be a novel therapeutic strategy. This bidirectional communication underscores the holistic nature of mental health, emphasizing that the well-being of our gut directly impacts the well-being of our mind. Sleep disruption is both a symptom and a significant contributor to depression and anxiety. Insomnia, hypersomnia, and restless sleep cycles are common in these conditions. Sleep is vital for brain health, allowing for memory consolidation, waste product clearance, and the regulation of neurotransmitter systems. Chronic sleep deprivation exacerbates stress responses, impairs emotional regulation in the prefrontal cortex, and can lead to an increase in amygdala activity. The relationship is cyclical: anxiety makes it hard to sleep, and lack of sleep increases anxiety and depressive symptoms. Addressing sleep hygiene and underlying sleep disorders is therefore a critical component of comprehensive mental health treatment, often yielding significant improvements in overall well-being and symptom reduction. Neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life, offers both a challenge and a beacon of hope. In depression and anxiety, maladaptive neuroplastic changes can reinforce negative thought patterns and emotional responses. For instance, chronic stress can reduce synaptic plasticity in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, making it harder to learn new coping mechanisms or extinguish fear responses. However, therapeutic interventions like psychotherapy and medication aim to promote positive neuroplasticity, fostering the growth of new, healthier neural pathways. This ability of the brain to adapt and change means that healing and recovery are always possible, given the right tools and support, by literally rewiring the brain. Psychotherapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, isn't just talk therapy, it fundamentally alters brain function. CBT helps individuals identify and challenge negative thought patterns and behaviors that perpetuate depression and anxiety. Brain imaging studies have shown that successful CBT treatment leads to measurable changes in brain activity, including increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, improving emotional regulation, and decreased activity in the amygdala, reducing fear responses. It essentially teaches the brain new, more adaptive ways of processing information and responding to stress. This provides compelling evidence that psychological interventions have a direct, tangible impact on the brain's neural circuitry, demonstrating the profound mind-body connection. Medication, while often stigmatized, plays a crucial role for many. Antidepressants, anxiolytics, and mood stabilizers target various neurotransmitter systems to restore balance. While not a cure, they can significantly alleviate symptoms, making it possible for individuals to engage more effectively in psychotherapy in daily life. As mentioned, SSRIs increase serotonin, SNRIs target serotonin and norepinephrine, and other classes may affect dopamine or GABA. The choice of medication is often tailored to individual symptoms, genetic profiles, and potential side effects, underscoring the personalized approach required. It's important to view medication as a tool, often best used in conjunction with other therapies, to help the brain re-regulate its complex systems and provide relief from debilitating symptoms. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, is a non-invasive brain stimulation technique used for treatment-resistant depression. It involves using magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in specific brain regions, typically the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. TMS can modulate neural activity, increasing it in underactive areas and sometimes decreasing it in overactive ones, thereby improving mood and reducing depressive symptoms. It's thought to enhance neuroplasticity and alter connectivity within critical mood-regulating circuits. For individuals who haven't responded to traditional medication or therapy, TMS offers a promising alternative, demonstrating how we can directly intervene in brain function to alleviate mental suffering with targeted physical stimulation. Electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, though often misunderstood and portrayed negatively, is one of the most effective treatments for severe, treatment-resistant depression and certain other mental illnesses. It involves inducing a brief, controlled seizure in the brain under general anesthesia. The exact mechanism isn't fully understood, but it's believed to cause widespread changes in brain chemistry, neurotransmitter release, receptor sensitivity, and gene expression, effectively resetting dysfunctional neural circuits. While it carries risks and side effects, its rapid and profound antidepressant effects can be life-saving for those in severe distress, highlighting the brain's complex and sometimes drastic responses to therapeutic interventions that aim to restore balance. Ketamine, an anesthetic, has emerged as a revolutionary rapid-acting antidepressant, particularly for severe, suicidal depression. Unlike traditional antidepressants that take weeks to work, intravenous ketamine can produce antidepressant effects within hours. Its mechanism involves blocking NMDA receptors, which are part of the glutamate system, leading to a surge in glutamate and activation of AMPA receptors. This cascade promotes the growth of new synaptic connections, synaptogenesis, in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, rapidly reversing the neural atrophy often seen in depression. While not a first-line treatment due to its potential for abuse and need for controlled settings, its unique mechanism offers profound insights into new therapeutic avenues and the brain's capacity for rapid repair. Psychedelics like psilocybin, from magic mushrooms, and MDMA, ecstasy, are generating immense excitement in mental health research. These substances, when administered in controlled therapeutic settings, appear to promote profound neuroplasticity and emotional processing. Psilocybin, a serotonin receptor agonist, can induce mystical experiences and reset the brain's default mode network, reducing rigid thought patterns and fostering new perspectives. MDMA enhances empathy and reduces fear, making it highly effective for PTSD treatment by allowing patients to process traumatic memories without being overwhelmed. These compounds offer a glimpse into a future where carefully guided altered states of consciousness could unlock powerful healing mechanisms within the brain, fundamentally changing how we approach therapy. The role of lifestyle interventions cannot be overstated. Regular physical exercise, for instance, is a potent antidepressant and anxiolytic. It increases neurotransmitter levels, promotes neurogenesis in the hippocampus, reduces inflammation, and buffers the effects of stress. A balanced diet, rich in omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants, supports brain health and can modulate inflammation and the gut microbiome. Mindfulness and meditation practices train the brain to regulate emotions, reduce rumination, and increase activity in the prefrontal cortex, literally rewiring the brain for resilience. These interventions are not just feel-good activities, they induce measurable neurobiological changes that are critical for preventing and managing mental illness. The concept of emotional regulation is central to understanding and treating anxiety and depression. It refers to our ability to influence which emotions we have, when we have them, and how we experience and express them. In these disorders, emotional regulation often breaks down. Individuals may struggle to down-regulate negative emotions, leading to prolonged sadness or anxiety, or struggle to upregulate positive emotions, contributing to anhedonia. Therapeutic approaches like dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, and acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, specifically target these skills, teaching individuals strategies to manage intense emotions, tolerate distress, and respond more flexibly to challenging situations. These therapies work by strengthening the neural circuits involved in top-down emotional control, particularly those linking the prefrontal cortex to the amygdala. Resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, is also deeply rooted in neurobiology. Factors contributing to resilience include robust prefrontal cortex function, efficient stress hormone regulation, HPA axis, balanced neurotransmitter systems, and healthy social connections. While some individuals may be naturally more resilient due to genetic factors or early life experiences, resilience is also a skill that can be developed and strengthened. Engaging in activities that promote well-being, building supportive relationships, and practicing adaptive coping strategies all contribute to building a more resilient brain, better equipped to withstand the inevitable challenges of life. Understanding the neural underpinnings of resilience allows us to cultivate it more effectively. The role of early life experiences, particularly adverse ones, cannot be overstated. Childhood trauma, neglect, or chronic stress can profoundly impact brain development, leading to long-lasting neurobiological changes. These early experiences can alter the structure and function of the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex, making individuals more vulnerable to depression and anxiety later in life. They can also epigenetically modify gene expression, turning certain genes on or off without changing the underlying DNA sequence, thereby affecting stress reactivity and neurotransmitter systems. This emphasizes the critical importance of early intervention and creating nurturing environments to foster healthy brain development and prevent future mental health challenges. Social connections and loneliness also have measurable neurological impacts. Humans are inherently social creatures, and strong social bonds are crucial for mental well-being. Loneliness and social isolation can activate the same brain regions associated with physical pain, increase inflammation, elevate stress hormones, and negatively impact brain structure and function. Conversely, supportive social interactions can release oxytocin, a bonding hormone, which reduces stress and fosters feelings of trust and well-being. This highlights why therapies that involve group support, family involvement, or community engagement can be incredibly effective, as they directly address a fundamental human need that has profound neurological consequences. The placebo effect, often dismissed, offers fascinating insights into the brain's capacity for healing. In clinical trials for depression and anxiety, a significant percentage of patients respond positively to a placebo, experiencing real symptom reduction. Neuroimaging studies have shown that the placebo effect can activate specific brain regions involved in pain modulation and reward, such as the prefrontal cortex and the striatum, and can influence neurotransmitter systems like dopamine and opioids. This isn't all in your head in a dismissive sense, but rather a powerful demonstration of the brain's ability to self-regulate and heal through expectation and belief, offering avenues for understanding and leveraging these intrinsic healing mechanisms in treatment. The future of treating depression and anxiety is moving towards personalized medicine. Recognizing that these are heterogeneous disorders, not monolithic entities, researchers are increasingly looking at biomarkers, genetic markers, brain imaging patterns, inflammatory markers, and even gut microbiome profiles to predict treatment response. This allows for more targeted interventions, moving away from a trial-and-error approach. For example, identifying specific neural network dysfunctions might guide the choice between different types of psychotherapy or brain stimulation. This tailored approach promises to optimize treatment outcomes, reduce side effects, and accelerate recovery by matching the right treatment to the right individual based on their unique neurobiological profile. Neurofeedback is another promising frontier. This technique trains individuals to self-regulate their brain activity by providing real-time feedback on their brainwaves, EEG. For example, a person with anxiety might learn to increase alpha waves, associated with relaxation, or decrease beta waves, associated with alertness/worry, in specific brain regions. Through repeated training, individuals can learn to consciously modulate their brain states, leading to lasting improvements in emotional regulation and symptom reduction. While still an emerging field, neurofeedback offers a non-pharmacological way to directly train the brain to function more optimally, demonstrating the incredible potential of harnessing our own neural control mechanisms. The field of optogenetics and chemogenetics, though primarily in research stages with animals, offers a glimpse into even more precise interventions. Optogenetics uses light to control genetically modified neurons, allowing scientists to selectively turn specific neural circuits on or off with unprecedented precision. Chemogenetics uses designer drugs to activate or inhibit specific neurons. While far from human application, these technologies are revolutionizing our understanding of which neural pathways are causally involved in depression and anxiety. This fundamental research is paving the way for future therapies that could precisely target dysfunctional circuits, offering highly refined interventions with minimal side effects, moving beyond broad chemical modulations to truly specific neural engineering. Biomarker research is constantly evolving. Beyond genetic and imaging biomarkers, researchers are exploring blood-based markers, such as inflammatory cytokines, stress hormones, and even metabolites, to identify individuals at risk or to predict treatment response. The goal is to develop easily accessible tests that can provide objective insights into an individual's neurobiological state, complementing subjective symptom reporting. This would revolutionize diagnosis, allowing for earlier intervention and preventing years of suffering. Imagine a future where a simple blood test could help guide your mental health treatment plan, offering a more empirical and less trial-and-error approach to care. The interplay between physical and mental health is increasingly clear. Chronic physical illnesses, such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders, significantly increase the risk of depression and anxiety, and vice versa. This bidirectional relationship is mediated by shared biological pathways, including inflammation, stress hormone dysregulation, and altered neurotransmitter systems. Addressing physical health problems can often alleviate mental health symptoms, and vice versa. This holistic perspective emphasizes that we cannot treat the mind in isolation from the body. A truly integrated approach to healthcare is essential for comprehensive well-being and effective long-term management of these complex conditions. Understanding the neuroscience of depression and anxiety is not just an academic exercise, it's a vital step in destigmatizing mental illness. When we recognize that these conditions are rooted in tangible biological and neurological processes, just like diabetes or heart disease, it shifts the narrative from one of personal failing to one of medical challenge. This scientific understanding fosters empathy, encourages individuals to seek help without shame, and drives investment in research for better treatments. The more we illuminate the brain's mechanisms, the more we can dispel myths and build a society that supports mental well-being with compassion and evidence-based care. One of the most exciting areas of current research is the exploration of neural circuits involved in anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure. This is a core symptom of depression that is often difficult to treat. Researchers are mapping the reward pathways, particularly those involving dopamine in the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area, to understand why these circuits become dysfunctional. By identifying specific deficits in these pleasure pathways, scientists hope to develop highly targeted interventions that can restore the brain's capacity for joy and motivation, offering relief to those who feel permanently numb to life's inherent gratifications. This focus on specific symptoms rather than broad categories is a key advancement. Furthermore, the exploration of fear extinction circuits is crucial for anxiety disorders. Fear extinction is the process by which learned fear responses diminish over time when a feared stimulus is repeatedly presented without adverse consequences. This process involves the prefrontal cortex inhibiting the amygdala. In anxiety disorders, these extinction circuits are often impaired, leading to persistent fear and avoidance behaviors. Research is focused on enhancing these circuits through various means, including pharmacological agents that boost neuroplasticity during exposure therapy, or even brain stimulation techniques. Strengthening these neural pathways offers a powerful way to help individuals unlearn their fears and reclaim their lives from the grip of anxiety. The discovery of novel therapeutic targets is accelerating. Beyond neurotransmitters, researchers are investigating the role of neurotrophic factors, such as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which promotes the growth and survival of neurons. Low BDNF levels are associated with depression, and many antidepressants are thought to work, in part, by increasing BDNF. Other targets include epigenetic modifiers, mitochondrial function, and even the brain's lymphatic system, the glymphatic system, which clears waste products during sleep. Each new discovery opens up entirely new avenues for drug development and other interventions, moving us closer to a future where mental illness can be treated with greater precision and effectiveness, akin to how we treat other complex medical conditions. In conclusion, the neuroscience of depression and anxiety paints a picture of incredible complexity, involving intricate interactions between genes, environment, neurotransmitters, brain regions, and neural networks. It's a field constantly evolving, unraveling the deepest mysteries of the human mind. We've moved far beyond simplistic explanations to embrace a multifaceted understanding that integrates biology, psychology, and social factors. This journey into the brain's inner workings not only demystifies mental illness but also empowers us with the knowledge that these conditions are treatable, often manageable, and that hope for recovery and a fulfilling life is always within reach. The scientific advancements are breathtaking, promising a future where suffering can be alleviated with greater precision and compassion. The conversation around mental health is changing, driven by scientific discovery. As we gain a deeper understanding of the biological underpinnings of these conditions, the stigma begins to fade, replaced by empathy and a commitment to evidence-based care. Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling, reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. Resources are available, and the scientific community is tirelessly working to improve lives. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening exploration. Let's continue to foster understanding and support those on their journey to mental wellness. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more scientific insights, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us continue to shed light on these vital topics.